Hello everyone, I'm Leslie Stegmeyer and I'm doing a report for Construction 418, Design Temporary Structures. My report is over structural runways, ramps, and platforms. The purpose of temporary structures. Temporary ramps are to move personnel, vehicles, and/or equipment from one level to another. Temporary runways is a passenger way or walkway elevated above the floor or ground level, along shafting or between buildings. Temporary work platforms, or TWP, provide a place to work when working at heights most commonly under 5 meters. There are some codes that structural runways, ramps, and platforms have to abide by. The codes provide restrictions, requirements regarding the structure of the runway, ramps, and platforms, as well as the size and height regulations. All needle beams, scaffold platforms, ladder jack platform or scaffold platforms, floating and rivet heater platforms, and trussels, extension trestle ladders, scaffold platforms are exempt from these requirements of the safety. Couple definitions. Platforms: a workspace for person elevated above the surrounding floor or ground, such as a balcony or platform for the operation of machinery and equipment. A runway, also a passageway for persons elevated above the surrounding floor or ground level, such as a footwalk along shafting of a walkway between buildings. Platform, also as an extended step or landing, breaking a continuous run of stairs. Several more definitions that go along with this. Scaffold, a temporary elevated platform and its supporting structure used to support workmen or materials or both. Types of temporary runway: aluminum, composite, concrete, molded plastic, steel, stainless steel, and wood. An example of a runway: steel. It's also known as a catwalk. There's another one that is above the ground from building to building. Types of temporary ramps can be used. They can be made out of compacted soils, rubber blast mats, wood and timbers, fabric, stone, or plastic diamond plate. Here's an example of compacted soil, the rubber blast mats, the wood and timber, the fabric that they lay down, crushed stone, and the plastic diamond plate. Types of temporary work platforms: scaffolding, trestles, podium, folding and step-up platforms, constructed temporary platforms, and step platforms. Types of temporary work platforms include scaffolding, which is the most common, trestles and stools, which are only suitable for short durations, podium, folding, and step platforms, which are intended for short durations and interior work. Constructed temporary platforms are only built when there is no alternative to a work platform that is available, and you never want to construct these working platforms from pallets, bricks, concrete blocks, buckets or barrels, furniture, nail boxes, or packing crates. An example of the scaffolding: example of trestles, and a stool or step platform. The history of runways or catwalks actually started back in the late 1800s. They are coming from a long, narrow footway for passage for someone to cross carefully. The platform extending into the auditorium, along with which models walk to display clothes and fashion shows, is also called a runway. Uses of runways are safe access from one building to another or one building site to another. Elevated runways also allow personnel to avoid heavy machinery, and they can allow access to parking lots. History of ramps. Most archaeologists agree that the system of ramps have been used to drag millions of blocks into their positions of various pyramids. These ramps didn't survive, but there are trace evidence that this is what suggested where the ramps came from. Uses of ramps is to allow access to personnel, vehicles, and heavy machinery to access construction sites. There are some standards that they have to follow. History of platforms comes from a lot of the word plateau, which was back in the early 1500s. A horizontal surface or structure with a horizontal surface raised above the level of the surrounding area. These platforms provide a place to work when working at heights. The fundamental components of runways and platforms are guardrails, midrails, toe boards, ladders and stair access, planks, handrails, and risers. Some of the safety requirements for the ramps and runways: they have to be suitable to prevent slipping, sliding, displacement, keeping runways free of debris or any other loose materials such as nails, rebar, paper, and other trash. Temporary structure failures are caused usually either due to improper installation and maintenance of these structures, which can result in injury or death, debris, poor housekeeping left on walkways, platforms, that can also result in slipping and falling, and access roads not being maintained properly. Debris and water can result in vehicles getting stuck or having limited access. This can also result in injury of personnel or damage to vehicles and machinery. Some of the OSHA regulations on runways, ramps, and platforms. And the codes or citations of codes, definitions, and all the other workings. Thank you.